Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Xbox the Box, an Xbox podcast. My name is Potato from Potato Pro Wrestling, and I'm with my good friend Alice. How are you, Alice?
Hi.
These ways,
And also saying hi to that dog growling.
Yeah, my dog's growling in the back. If you can hear the dog going, it's my dog. She's having a bit of a moan. She's an old lady dog, so I can't hold it against her. She's 13, so
Well,
she's an old lady dog. So
you certainly have a bell station in your room, though. You got all those things like consoles and dogs and everything. Anyway,
every dog.
Yeah, my pronouns.
We're both.
My pronouns are she, they, and this week it's just going through that every week, and we're just trying to get some new, something else to talk about. But this week we can guarantee you that this is certainly going to be a huge week because just about 1 or 2 hours ago we received some really bad news that CMA, which is a law division on the UK or some sort, I don't know.
Damn you, British people.
Yeah.
Even though we are British.
They have blocked Microsoft Steel. They blocked Microsoft Steel over Activision and Blizzard, which means it's just going to get more awkward. But this will be our topic of the week, so we will be discussing this later in the show. But to start off with, we got some update as we have been playing Minecraft Legends. I mean, it's really annoying. Every games usually come out on Game Pass every Tuesday, and we only got 1 or 2 hours before we can talk about it in the podcast.
I know, it's just typical. Before we get into the talking about Minecraft Legends, I just wanted to mention that Alice has been pretty poorly, and I got a bit of a blocked nose. So if my voice sounds really nasally or if I sound snotty, I'm sorry. Got a bit of a cold, and then Alice has not been feeling too great herself. So we're falling apart at the scene with this full podcast.
I would rather not bring this up because I've strained my back, but I don't want to be fussing over it and just really get on with this podcast episode. As soon as we do it, more we can have time to relax.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I just wanted to mention it just in case I sound snotty, and I apologise. I'm apologising in advance because I know how horrible it can sound on the podcast listening back to it.
Well, hopefully I apologise. Hopefully people don't really comment that you were just a snot-nosed brat.
That's nothing new. So yeah, Minecraft Legends. We both played it. We both enjoy it, I think. We played a good couple of hours.
I played on it for 5 hours on Legendary before I switched over to the lower difficulty, and I managed to complete it in 7 hours. But yeah,
oh wow, you beat it. Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's just it's good. Just got into the gist of it, but I just think it's just not very balanced. But it's still a bit addictive for a time. But now I'm just haven't got back into it, so because I've been focusing on my well-being and I'm trying to do more of my projects. So I suppose you've been playing a bit of that too, right?
Yeah, I haven't played much of it, to be honest. I enjoyed it for a couple of hours, but to be honest, last week I went to see the Mario movie, and then now ever since I've been on a bit of a Mario binge. I mean, that's my current game that's my gaming at the moment. Obviously, and then Vampire Survivors DLC came out as well, which I've also been obsessed with. But we'll talk about that more in a minute when we get into what we've been playing. But yeah, Minecraft Legends, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's a bit simplistic at the moment, but then I'm playing it in normal difficulty. I started in normal difficulty. Maybe if I started in Legendary, I'd find it a bit more challenging. But at the moment, I'm not really having too much issue with it. It's quite straightforward. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I'm going to finish it though. If it's only 7 hours to finish the story, I might go back and finish it. I didn't realize it was that short. Because I might be halfway through it then at that rate because I've been playing it for about 4 or 5 hours. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. Are we going to do our ratings out of 10 for this? So,
well, we did decide on 7 out of 10, and it still remains to be. Yeah. But I think it's still a bit a bit buggy, and I think I encountered a few of these. And also, the AI is just eventually gets really annoying that you often like lose the units and couldn't get them all. And it just ends up like it's a bit of a bother to like get all the units and try to attack the bases. So yeah, as I've been playing the game more, I started out on Legendary and thought I would be able to get on with it. Like, I thought I lost the save because I mentioned the glitch that prevents it from saving. But I went back into it, played it for 5 more hours, and I was like, thought I would get on well and everything. But I think it's just when the raids happen on the villages, like when they come over, if you don't attend the town, then it gets destroyed by piglins. Like, I literally put towers, walls into it, but as soon as I came over it, then like if I'm too late, all the pillars and all that construction work gets wasted, and you have to like get rid of the piglins again.
Yeah, I get that. Like you'll be on the other side of the map, and it'll be like, this base has been under attack. I'm like, oh god, okay. And then, like, it feels like almost like a chore going back to fix other bases. Like, it'd be nice if you just, when you took a base over, that was it. You didn't have to keep defending it all the time. It'd be nice, but it reminds me of like Fallout, whereas like when they keep going like, the people need your help, like constantly, like, leave me alone. I'm just trying to just do my own thing here.
But it gets even more difficult when not only they do multiple attacks of different villages. Like, you've got like 3 tribes that you had to defeat, but as you start off with 3, then you eventually have all 3 tribes attacking different villages at the same time, so you won't be able to get rid of all of them in one night. You just have to choose one village that you have to defend there. But on Legendary, it just gets too difficult, where you just end up like you cannot defend a village, and your forces are too strong for it. So you just end up like you just allow the village to be destroyed, and then you bring the units over to sort them out. But then it just eventually comes to the point where, like, how much do I have to lose before I won't be able to play this game again? I mean, this is something I have to like research and see, but I just hope it doesn't come to the point where you lose everything and the game is over. So, and that's
Have you thought about playing this game in co-op? Like, that maybe might be easier, or
we should do co-op on this later this week. Because if we do co-op again on starting a new game on Legendary, then we would have a much easier time to like complete it on Legendary. But yeah, so because it's like proving to be too difficult, I decided to do on the lowest difficulty, which is Storied, which is like the easiest difficulty. Because I'm only doing the Legendary just for the achievement, but it is stupidly easy. The most difficult part is when you're doing it with a green tribe, where they use gas and all the bits. They got the hardest units. The Bastion one has walls. That's the most fun. And the other one is like I think it's a tribal one, but it's got an annoying boss at the end, which I don't want to spoil too much.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just because of this I learned like how to beat the bases easily. But I found that you get 2 additional units, which is a watering golem and some more powerful golem. But the cobblestone golems is all you need. Like, once you get all the bunch of cobblestone golems, you just destroy the structures, and that's all you need to do. You don't really need to worry about the piglins. But I think you'll probably end up like needing wooden golems on like higher difficulties. But I'm not sure. But I think I would do a lot more research for those who completed on Legendary and see what's the best strategy to do that. But I just learned along the way that if you look around the map and find some like thirst golems, which is like another feature of it, that if you get enough gold and iron, then you can use them to purchase the thirst golems, who will always respawn. They can get killed off and teleported to the village, but it's possible you can actually like use them to like easily destroy the villages, and this would make the Legendary difficulty like more manageable. But it does have a limitation on how much upgrades you can have. You can remove the upgrades, but you can't have more than the square diameters, well, the radius of all the 4 improvement hubs that you can put upgrades on, whereas you can have as many upgrades as you want in multiplayer. So I only played a couple of versus mode things, but I'd like to let you add into this first.
Sorry, just call me blue in my nose. I'm enjoying it a lot. I want to play co-op with you. I think that'd be fun.
Yes,
I'm wondering what would happen if I do if I have all archers and you have all golems and we work that way. That might be interesting.
Yes,
because I quite like having the ranged inventory. To be honest, infantry. Yeah, I haven't played it that much yet, so I need to play it more because you've been saying a lot of that stuff I haven't actually done yet, so I need to play a bit more to really judge. I've literally just unlocked so I've got 4 different types of inventory, 4 different types of army people to have now. So golems, archers, and then 2 new ones I just unlocked. And I haven't really played with them yet. I haven't even tried them properly yet. But it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I would give it a 7 out of 10, as we said last week. I don't think my score's changed at all. Yeah, not the best game ever, but it's enjoyable. If you like RTS games, if you like Minecraft, it might be worth trying out, especially because it's on Game Pass. I think it's fun. I think this. As I said, we need to try the co-op out before we could give it really a proper score. But I think 7 out of 10 seems fair from what we've been playing. So you've been playing the multiplayer because I have not even touched the multiplayer yet.
Yes.
So is the multiplayer fun?
It's alright actually. Basically, if you were to be after achievements, you only stick with public game modes.
Yeah,
and that's where and then the versus, it's not 1 versus 1. You have to be in a team of 4 players each, so you have 8 players.
right.
But it runs a bit like Dota, where or League of Legends, where you start off with a base, but you have to collect wood and stone in order to build all those fortifications, as well as creature spawners. But the difference between that and the campaign is that you can build improvement hubs as many as you want, so you can have as many upgrades as you need. You can also get lapis lamps, so you can have more critters with your team. But it's kind of a bit limited on how well you play the game and which upgrades you can get, because I think one game that we eventually got to the point where some of us didn't actually bother to get the diamond, which is located far away from the map. But once we get more mobs, we can't get more than 660, and that's when we need to do more upgrades to have more mobs there. Right. So therefore, it just left some of us without any mobs and have very little to do. So because if you don't strategize and allow more mobs there to share between all players, then you're just going to end up having less armies to command. And I think it's just has this huge positive game loop that if you get enough upgrades and you'll be able to strategize well, you end up having a huge advantage of the game. And yeah, but anyway, I think it's really cool about the improvement hubs, but I think it just really depends on how well you do with teamwork. But unfortunately, it's just it kind of expects you to work in a team, and sometimes people don't actually work together, and sometimes end up trying to control the game without a lot of support from other players. So I think therefore the versus mode is a bit of a hit and miss.
I was going to say, you need an actual team of people really, because playing with random people must be really frustrating and confusing. Just randomers online, you can have 4 people all trying to get materials, or you can have 4 people all trying to battle. Where really you need to have a variety of people doing different things, really. So I imagine playing with randomers must be really frustrating. Playing shooter games online could be frustrating because people don't capture the checkpoint; they just camp and go for kills and stuff. It's you need to capture A, goddammit. It's I can picture it being the same with this.
Yeah, so that's why. And I also found that I think this is definitely mode where you can break the game easily because you can build as many lapis lamps and improvement hubs as much as you can, so you're going to end up with having less resources. Also, the balance is a bit weird because, as I said, cobblestone golems are absolutely useful because they can destroy structures in campaign. Getting the first golems really helps out a lot, but once you have found a way to spawn loads of skeletons, because these skeletons can fire bows, these are overpowered compared to every other mob, and if you have an army of them, they can definitely destroy bases and win the game. In versus, I've been seeing way more skeletons than any other mob in late game.
Oh, okay.
So it just shows how imbalanced this is at the moment.
That's interesting. I'd have to try that. Yeah, I haven't really played the multiplayer. I haven't got a lock skeleton yet. I'd have to play some more of the single player as well. But yeah, so that's our Minecraft Legends review, I guess. Let us know what you think in the comments below. What you think of Minecraft Legends? We really appreciate that if you give us some feedback. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to talk about Minecraft Legends before we move on to what we've been playing?
I would say give it a try, but it's a bit buggy at the moment, so hoping that it might have a few upgrades. But apart from that, we're just going to move to the next section, and I think this would be focused on your games only. So shall we do that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. What have we been playing?
What have we been playing?
So yeah, you've only really been playing Minecraft Legends, so it's basically going to be just me talking to myself about what I've been playing. So as I said earlier in the podcast, I went to see the Mario movie on the weekend, in the week last week, and I'm obsessed with Mario again. All of a sudden, I love Mario so much. So downloaded the Virtual Console stuff, and I've been downloading all my old Mario games on my Switch. So I played a little bit of Mario Galaxy last night, played Mario Kart 8 the day before, and played some of the DLC tracks. I played a bit of Mario Golf on the N64, on the emulator. I beat Super Mario Bros. 1. I went for the entirety of Super Mario Bros. 1 from start to finish, all 8 worlds.
Did you use the pipes?
Yeah, I used the pipes. Of course I used the pipes. Everyone uses the pipes. You can't not use the pipes. Okay, so I cheated, but I still did it. It still counts. I use the rewind feature every now and again.
Yeah, I don't mind about that because everyone uses warp pipes. And then also in the Super Mario Bros. 3, you eventually find a flute, which I didn't get it in my first time when I got back to it, but you can use it to transport to any kind of world you wish. And I remember that from the film called The Wizard.
Yes, definitely. Super Mario Bros. 3 is great. I haven't got around to playing that again recently, but yeah. So I played Super Mario Bros. 1, beat it in one go. Literally, I was waiting for the football to come on, the FA Cup final. It's I've got an hour to kill. I'll just play Mario. I literally played the entirety of Super Mario Bros. 1 from start to finish. Then I played a couple of levels on Super Mario Maker 2, which is difficult to find good levels on that game because they're either absurdly hard and broken, or they're too easy. You can't seem to find any just nicely paced levels in Super Mario Maker, which is annoying. So I played a bit of Mario Maker, and then I played a bit of Mario Galaxy last night, and I played a bit of Mario Kart. And I played Super Mario Super Circuit for the Game Boy Advance, which was one of my first Mario Kart games, and I absolutely adored that game back in the day. And it still holds up, actually. It's quite fun to play it on the Virtual Console. Yeah, I was watching a video about all the Mario games on the Switch. Apparently, there's 67 Mario games on the Switch. If you include Virtual Consoles.
Does it include the Rabbids crossovers?
Yes, it does, yeah. And it includes Donkey Kong, even though Donkey Kong's not really a Mario game, even though it kind of is. It's in the same universe, and Yoshi. But yeah, so I need to play more. I've been in a bit of a Mario mood ever since watching the movie because I adore Mario. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's the reason I'm a gamer now. It's the reason why I'm here. There's reason I fell in love with video games was because of Mario. So yeah, after watching the movie, I've been a bit obsessed with Mario, been a bit of a binge. But I have played one other game.
Well, before you move into that,
Go on.
I would add that it wasn't Mario that brought me into gaming. It was Sonic that brought me into gaming.
Nintendo, was it Sega does what Nintendo don't, is it?
Well, it's just that when I saw Sonic on TV, I was like, oh wow, Sonic. And then once there's Master
He's blue and
System, I was
fast.
like into like other games like Teddy Boy and bits. But then we just got like Sonic the Hedgehog, and yeah, been obsessed with that hedgehog. But funny enough, my nephew actually likes Sonic, but he also like enjoys Pokemon as well. So, but
Pokemon's good.
yeah, it's just all because of that
Oh.
Sonic movie that my nephew's like really happy
I like
about
Sonic
like
movie.
Sonic stuff. But for me, I wasn't properly introduced to Mario. Like I had the Game & Watch, which I still have it somewhere, but it's the Cement Factory Game & Watch. But it was, and then I was like borrowing the Nintendo Game Boy to play Mario games, like Super Mario Land, just that.
Yeah. On the Game Boy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I know it.
And then I was probably introduced to Mario through the Super Nintendo, which for Christmas I got asked for the Super Nintendo with Street Fighter 2. But
Ooh, nice.
but what I got instead is a Super Nintendo that has Super Mario World and Super Mario All Stars, which contains Super Mario
nice.
Brothers 1 to 3 with a lost levels.
Yep.
So yeah.
Super Mario All Stars is one of the greatest like collections of games ever. It's such a good collection of games. I'd say that and the Master Chief Collection are probably the two peak when it comes to like game collections, when it comes to video games. I love it. Oh, yeah. It's funny. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. If you said a decade ago to us that there would be a successful Sonic movie and a successful Mario movie, and the Dr. Robotnik would be Jim Carrey and Bowser would be Jack Black, I would think you're crazy. It's absolutely mad to think, isn't it? But yeah, we're going to talk more. Like, I mean, spoilers for tomorrow's video. We're going to be doing Outside the Box, which is going to be a Mario-related episode. So we're going to talk more about Mario in that. So I don't want to go too much detail about what I've been playing, but I love Mario. Mario's great. I think psychologically he's the father figure I've always wanted. I think psychologically I'm a bit damaged when it comes to that. So, on that subject, I've also been playing Vampire Survivors, and I have just got all the achievements again. Woohoo! Getting all the caterpillars is a pain in the ass. I had to look it up how to do it. You have to kill 6,000 caterpillars.
Yeah, so I think in the map, there's only like a couple of areas in the map where loads of them like spawn from all angles, and as you defeat them, you get loads of like custard pies from them. And it's, I think these are supposed to be cakes, but that's how you just like that. Well, that's how I got the achievement for killing all those Sammies. But there's an interesting thing behind those is that they're actually based on the chocolate caterpillar cakes, like sold by the M&S.
I gather that's what the reference was. Like, that's what the cake is all about. Yeah. So if you don't know, in the UK we have these cakes called caterpillar cakes. They're just like long cakes. They look like a caterpillar, and they're for kids' parties and stuff. They're covered in chocolate and stuff. So yeah, they obviously there's a reference to that when it comes to to Vampire Survivors, which is funny. But yeah, that was the last achievement. It took me ages to get it. I got every other achievement pretty easily. That one I had to look up where to find all these bloody caterpillars. I found the area and I literally just left the controller, put it on the ground, and just left it like running in the background while I did other things. And I got the achievement because I'm so overpowered.
How did you find that? Leaving your controller behind?
If I just left it, I put it on the ground and I didn't play some Mario Kart on my Switch. I just left it running on the background. I had I maxed all my weapons out and I was just invincible. Basically, nothing was killing me. So I'm like, okay, I'll just leave it here while the caterpillars die.
Well, I did that many times when I was like grinding gold to get all those golden eggs.
Yeah, it's broken. Yeah, even if you want to die, sometimes you can't. I'm like trying to find a way to kill. It's like, let me die, and it just won't let me.
Well, it's just simple. If you want to stop, you just press pause, go to options, and then quit the game. That's it. and then you still get all this money.
Yeah, so I had fun with that. So so you got the three new well, you got more than three characters, but you got the three new, like, are they like princesses? Even though like one of them looks like a monster. Can't remember what the like Guinevere and I can't remember now.
Yeah, I think both of them are like ladies, but I
think
one of them is like a sorceress, and then the other one is like based on the Lady of the Lake from some King Arthur folklore.
Yeah, because you have Excalibur or Excalibur or whatever it's called. I think it's called like, it's not called Excalibur, but it's basically Excalibur. Excalibur, I think it's called, or something like that. And you have an archer, and you have a mage as well. So it's like basically like traditional fantasy stereotypes, like the D&D kind of stereotypes, you know, mage, archer, warrior kind of thing. But yeah, so you get those three, and then you unlock the Ladies of the Lake, which are like, you got the good one, the evil one, and then you got the super evil mutated one that's like even more evil.
Yeah, that part is just like, it's a bit disturbing. Like, I don't want to go into spoilers, but how you unlock it and you got it, it's just like a bit messed up, really. And it's kind of like the spookiest part of the whole game. So, but you just have to get the DLC for like £1.59 or $2 in the US and see for yourself.
The DLC is so cheap and is so worth every penny. I would recommend it to anyone. As you said before multiple times, Vampire Survivor was one of our Game of the Years last year. It won a lot of our awards, and it won a BAFTA for Game of the Year. If you still haven't played it, I would highly recommend it. It's so cheap. Like, even if you don't have Game Pass, it's like £5 to play it. Or you can play it on mobile for free. I highly recommend just trying it out.
Well, it's actually £3.50 or some sort on like Xbox or even on Steam, and the DLC is like £1.50 per each. But it's a bit different for you, but it's still very inexpensive. So it's just pretty much like paying for a ticket, really. Only you keep the ticket forever.
And it's worth it. It's worth it, really. It's hours and hours and hours of fun gameplay. Me and Alex have both got all the achievements on it. We've both maxed it out. We've basically got completely our money's worth out of it by a lot. I recommend it anyway. I recommend any one of you to try it out. You'll probably love it. It's one of those games. It doesn't look that great, like from just watching it, but when you actually play it, it's amazing.
Right? Shall we move on now?
Yeah, of course. So let's move on to our news
at Xbox O'Clock.
Right. So the first item here is that despite all the comments that the Hi-Fi Rush is actually didn't perform well, it turns out to be a breakout hit for Xbox, which the studio Tango Gameworks have been saying they're actually happy about it. So that got an article here. So according to Aaron Greenberg from Xbox, they insisted it was a breakout hint. And that's despite the claims saying that it didn't make enough money it needed to make. So
yeah. I mean, so Jeff, because I watched this, so Jeff Grubb on his podcast, his Grub Snacks, I think it's called, Game Snacks. He basically said that he doesn't think Hi-Fi Rush would have made the money back. It was done through development, and then everyone took that out of context and said, "Oh, it's a failure, it's a flop." And then Jeff Grubb was like, no, I didn't say that. You just took everything I said out of context. And then, as you said, Aaron Greenberg came out and said, no, that is wrong. It was a successful game. I don't know how anyone could have seen Hi-Fi Rush and said that was unsuccessful, because when that game came out, it literally took over the internet. Everyone was playing it. Everyone was talking about it.
Both Xbox and PC. But I think that those who are saying naysayers, possibly those who are like fans of PlayStation, because I think typically the ones who are most negative about Xbox come from the PlayStation people, and it's just like, I think it's just like
Xbox fan.
It's just console wars crap, all that.
Exactly. I'm an Xbox fan, but I still have a PlayStation. I still respect what they do, and if they make a good game, I'm going to give them respect. You know. I don't understand why people are like so bitter and stuff. Like, we'll give Xbox its props when it does a good job. You know, it's mad to me. It's like Xbox is always they always move the goalpost with Xbox, like their targets. It's like, Xbox don't have any games. It's like, Xbox buy all their studios. Xbox can't make anything first party and all this stuff. It's just like they always keep changing the goalposts all the time, and it's really annoying. Yeah, I don't understand why people are so like petty sometimes. I don't know. I think it looks great. I think Hi-Fi Rush is still one of my games of the year this year, and it was a fantastic game, and I love it. And we both, I mean, our channel grew quite a lot. We both really enjoyed it, and we both made a lot of videos about it. So yeah,
So
that's all. If you had anything else to add,
well, I think we'll just leave that to the comments and see how they think of it. But I think the truth is that Hi-Fi Rush is a success. And those who said it otherwise are those who are just like skeptical of Xbox. Like, if a Hi-Fi Rush came on all systems, the outlook could have been a lot different. But it's also to do with like this being a shadow drop, and people were skeptical as if it's rushed, when this is actually Hi-Fi Rush that's been in development for 6 years.
Yeah, the fact that it was shadow dropped is still mind blowing to me, but it was such a good game. I'd highly recommend anyone play it. Anyone like interested in it, try it out. Even if you don't have an Xbox, like you could stream it on Game Pass, like stream it online, or you can just play it on the PC. You know, there's plenty of options for you. It's really worth trying. It's a fun game. I love it.
So
love it.
Next news, but you have Benedict Fox, and this one is actually coming next week. Is it?
Yeah. So I mean, our topic of the show was going to be about Benedict Fox. Then the CMA news broke like literally this morning, so I didn't really have much to say about it. But it was our topic of the show. Is that's our next big exclusive, and then after that we get Redfall. So that's but Benedict Fox looks interesting. Metroidvania, sort of like it looks a bit like Ori. I'm going to play it when it comes out, but I mean, do you have anything you want to say about it? I didn't really have much to say. It was just down as our topic of the show.
And I haven't been thinking about Benedict Fox as much as I could, so therefore it's just like literally this week is me being convinced whether I should check this game out or some sort. But it's unlikely I would get to play it out because I haven't been playing a lot of games recently. But
that's fair.
But I think, to be honest, it's just like, it's okay. Just see how the reviews turn out. So,
yeah, I mean that's the key. I think we should just see the reviews. Plus, it's on Game Pass, so you have access to it yourself. If you're interested in it, you can always just try it, and then if you don't like it, just delete it. That's the benefit of Game Pass, is you can try all these games out, and invest time in stuff that you find interesting, and and also you don't feel obligated. Like, if you download it and it's rubbish and you don't like it, you don't feel obligated to just keep playing it because you spent money on it. So I think that's the good thing about Game Pass, is you can just try it, see how you think. Speaking of Game Pass, the big news this week, apart from the CMA stuff, is that Xbox have made nearly $1 billion in revenue for subscriptions this quarter. So this quarter is that's a small time period, so that's like 3 months. $1 billion on subscriptions. So I'm assuming that means Game Pass when they say subscriptions. I mean, what else would it be? I mean, you could count like Windows and stuff if you're talking about Word and stuff like that. You can have that as a subscription as well, I suppose, if you're talking about Windows. But if it's just purely Xbox, that's really impressive.
So this is actually, you saw this on TweetTown, is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got.
So I don't have the source for it. Yeah, I need to look for the. I didn't really get a good source. Well, it's been all over the internet.
Well, it's the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, has confirmed that. Yep, it's been had a $1 billion in revenues, and there's Xbox and service revenues, which, as you can see here, it gradually increased in sales. And I think as soon as they brought over Game Pass, it just it made a lot more revenue. And also the Game Pass, that while the PlayStation Plus still remains to be a top subscription service, Switch Online and Game Pass are steadily growing. But so far, Game Pass is proving to be quite a good investment, whereas PlayStation Plus is more stable. But the digital subscription services have been steadily growing, which means we could see less and less of like physical games, and instead we might be moving over to like digital content. But as it's mentioned there too, Microsoft has now got over 500 million unique users across the first-party games lineup, and it's driven by the Xbox Game Pass's subscription access.
I mean, people are like still holding on to like, I need to buy my games, I need them physically, and that'll always be a thing. But if you look at the movie industry, you look at the music industry, there's like people bought CDs, people buy DVDs, and I still buy Blu-rays for films I really want. But everything is on Netflix or Disney Plus now, or Spotify if you're like listening to music, or YouTube Music. So I feel like subscription services are the future. That's where everything seems to be going. I don't get people who are still holding on to, I want to pay 70 quid for everything. It seems a bit, I'd rather just pay £10 a month and have access to every game. And if a game I really like, I'll buy it physically then and just have it forever. I don't have to own everything. I just own the games I really want, I think that's the best way to be, I personally. And I think, this is the future. I think Xbox have seen a gap in the market and they've really exploited it. And I think they've done a really good job with it. As you were saying about Nintendo Switch Online, I've actually started using that quite a lot. It's cool to have a back catalogue of Nintendo games as well.
I've been off it for like a few months. And then I didn't get the expansion pass, but I may decide to do so in the future. But I think you're just basically getting it for not just online multiplayer, but also like the virtual console games too.
Yeah.
But I think the Nintendo Game Boy selection there is just quite interesting, along with the Super Nintendo offerings. So, but I don't know. I mean, saying this is the Xbox podcast, I think the Game Pass is a much better deal than Switch Online. Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I think, for sure, definitely. I mean, price-wise, the Nintendo Switch Online is better because it's a lot cheaper. But Game Pass is a much better service. I think the only advantage Nintendo has over Xbox is they got a much longer lineage of like older games, whereas Xbox is even though it's been around for 20 years, it is still the newest console on the market. It doesn't have that many older games. That's why I keep saying buy Sega. Do you imagine if I had all the classic Sega games on Game Pass, like the original Sonics and stuff like that, and like Kid Icarus and not Kid Icarus, Alex the Kid. And Super Monkey Ball. I'm trying to think of good Sega games.
Streets of
Nights
Rage,
into Dreams,
Vector Man,
Streets of Rage. That's good.
Echo the Dolphin, Sonic the Hedgehog,
yes,
Gunstar Heroes, Dynamite Headdy, Alien Soldier, Micro Machines, even though it's not made by Sega, Golden Axe, Alicia Dragon. Bonanza Brothers, Phantasy Star, which is a better alternative to Final Fantasy, Shining Force, and I think there's some others. Tedrament Earl, which is now not owned by Sega, and I know many more, which it's turning into the bit of a memory game.
Yeah, but that's my point exactly. Though, is
Shinobi.
Shinobi. And then also you get like the newer games like Yakuza and Persona and the later Sega Sonic games and stuff. But that's my point. Is like Nintendo's got the advantage because they got the old catalog. The only other old catalog that's similar or like almost can compete is the Sega catalog. So I feel like if you get the Sega games on Game Pass, I think you'll be be on par with the Nintendo Switch. Saying that, the Nintendo Switch Online, you do have Sega Mega Drive games on there. Like you have the Mega Drive
expansion pass.
The expansion pass, so that's interesting. So interesting to see where that goes. But I love retro games.
It's only going to get better for Switch Online when we get Pokemon games on it. But for now, you just have
For
to deal
sure.
with Cassette Beasts, which is out now on Game Pass.
Well, nice segue. I haven't played that yet. I need to get around to play that. But yeah, Game Pass is amazing. We're getting Redfall, we're getting Starfield this year, we're getting Forza, we're getting Benedict Fox. We've got some good stuff coming, so I'm very excited for Game Pass, and I think it's great news that it's growing, and it's good for us, the gamers. It's good that we have options, that we don't have to buy everything for £70 or $70.
We also need to mention that Grounded's got a 1.2 update.
We like Grounded. Grounded's great.
Not exactly breaking news,
game.
because that was yesterday. But in this game, which the Grounded's now got a new update, which is known as a Super Duper Update 1.2. So basically, it just comes in the construction act. It has new items, including the hot tub, literally like a hot spa of some sort, but it gives you like perks there. But as you can see here, there's a duplicator, which lets you duplicate any item you have, and also comes with like interesting upgrades. It's all part of the story too, and I think it's quite interesting. But it also lets you like fight wasps. There's a new wasp boss that you can beat. So if you got into like the game really far, like we haven't got into this part yet, but it's certainly there for you to like get a huge challenge. And then
so is that, and so you said it's a wasp boss. Is that after the what's it called? The giant spider boss. That was the last boss in the game was the giant spider. I can't remember what it's called now.
I don't know.
What's it called?
I think it's a bit optional. But think of it as more of a raid from like Destiny, where they often like throw in some extra content for anyone to participate in. But you'll definitely face wasps as the new enemy. Like if you've
I know it's the Broodmother. That's what it was called, the Broodmother.
Yes.
I think the Broodmother was the final boss of Grounded. At least that's what I remember. So I'm curious if the wasp is after that or before that in the story. That's what I was wondering, and wondering if it's before the final boss or after the final boss. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also got the construction tools, and it has a constructing net, which kind of like helps you to like help build the houses up. So it's only in creative mode. So if you're doing it in like survival, then you may not get it. But if you're doing creative, then it'll be good. And I think you can also get turrets in the game too. So that's interesting.
That's cool.
So
I love Grounded. Such a good game. Me and you spent so many hours playing Grounded, didn't we? We got like zip lines going across the entire map and stuff, and we got like a base, and like such a good game. It's like if you like Minecraft and stuff, it's like this is like a slightly harder version of Minecraft. I think it's a very enjoyable game if you're into that kind of stuff. The giant spiders can be freaky though; they do scare me sometimes. But at least you can turn that off if you wanted to, and turn them into giant blobs. Arachnophobia mode.
That's all right. Well, the arachnophobia mode is a bit weird and a bit more uncanny because it turns them into balls.
Yeah, which is big floating balls, which is, I don't know if that's much better. Yeah, I enjoyed it though. It's such a good game. Yeah, I haven't played it in a while, but we really enjoyed it when we played it before. We played it like last year. We played it for like days on end, like till 6 o'clock in the morning. Such a good game. Love it. 10 out of 10. Even though I didn't give it 10 out of 10, I think we gave it 8 or 9. But you know.
But anyway, so now we're finally over to what it could essentially be the last news, but it's now turned into a massive topic. So you can say this is both a breaking news and the top of the week into one. So now we're going to go into this topic of the week.
It's time for the topic of the show.
Topic of the breaking news. Breaking news of the week. The show. The topic.
Anyway.
The topic of the news.
So if you didn't catch the earlier detail in the podcast, CMA, which is a UK law firm of some sort, they have now blocked the Activision Blizzard deal by Microsoft over concerns that it's going to cause issues with the cloud gaming competition.
It makes no sense. I hate it so much. Bloody claw blimey, governor. Get the crumpets out. oh, crikey, cup of tea. We're British. We got to ruin everything for everyone else. Call private. Well, we're British, so my impression is awful. But there you go.
Well, according to this
Damn you, Britain.
article on Sky News, the CMA stops Microsoft's proposed purchase of Activision Blizzard over concerns the deal will lead to reduced innovation and less choice for UK gamers.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. This is horrible. So apparently, if they appeal it, which they will, this could still take a couple more years to get sorted. And this has been going a year now, and it's already driving me mad. And we might have another couple of years of this. God, just let them buy it. For God's sake. What are you doing? No. Oh, God. And it's like, it might be bad for British customers. How? Well, I get to pay £10 and I get to have all the Call of Duty games for £10 a month. How's that bad for me? I don't understand. That makes no bloody sense.
It won't be long until PlayStation decides to buy Activision Blizzard and instead offer their games on the PlayStation Plus Extra service or whatever that is.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, it's a joke, and it's really annoying me now. I just want it to get done.
I just feel this is absolute bias because they don't like the idea of Microsoft causing a monopoly, but they're absolutely fine with PlayStation getting through. And I think this is just
makes sense.
Really bad. But anyway, it just seems that
as
it's expected, because they have some such negativity towards a deal. What happened is that during April, they were doing an investigation meeting into the deal, and they found out in the final report to say that the move to block the deal as it harms the competition of cloud gaming is known as the only effective remedy to competition concerns, adding that the deal would reinforce Microsoft's advantage in the market by giving it control over gaming content such as Call of Duty, Overwatch, and World of Warcraft. The evidence available to the CMA indicates that, absent the merger, Activision would start providing games for cloud platforms in the foreseeable future.
They wouldn't, though. They've already said they won't, so it doesn't make sense. And then Xbox said that they're going to provide 10-year... They're giving them 10-year contracts to all these cloud providers, even ones we've never even heard of. They've given them 10-year deals to. It doesn't make any sense, and it's really annoying. And it's bad for customers, it's bad for Xbox, it's bad for pretty much everyone. I don't understand it. It makes me really upset.
I don't want to interrupt you, but there's more to this in the article.
Yeah.
It also said that allowing Microsoft to take such a good, strong position in the cloud gaming market, just as it begins to grow rapidly, would risk undermining the innovation that is crucial to the development of these opportunities. And then, but Microsoft, as you said, they are now committed to be able to appeal against this. And to be honest, this is bollocks at the finest level. The Microsoft president, Brad Smith, they said that we remain fully committed to this acquisition and will appeal, adding that the decision rejects a pragmatic path to address competition concerns. This discourages tech innovation and investment in the UK. We are especially disappointed that, after lengthy deliberations, this decision appears to reflect a flawed understanding of this market and the way that relevant cloud technology actually works. So, there's also news of CMA's decision, which sent shares in Activision Blizzard down 12%.
And also, people are saying now that the UK's closed for business. If you want to become a tech company in the UK, you don't want to do it. If you want to invest in any company, you don't want to come to the UK. Basically, it doesn't make sense. It's really making the UK look weak and making us not an appealing prospect for tech companies. We're going to become a third, fourth rate country now from when it comes to tech, because of stupid laws like this. It doesn't make sense. It's making us look bad. It's bad for customers. Worst case scenario, what happens is the Xbox still gets Call of Duty, but then the UK customers have to pay full price for it, whereas every country in the world gets it for free on Game Pass. I mean, I can imagine that happening, and bloody hell, that would be frustrating.
Well,
Ugh.
I need to state my opinion on this. That
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
UK is basically, well, they've certainly been making a lot of bullshit when it comes to UK laws. I mean, if you talk about, sorry to mention the political aspects, they've been talking about Bill of Rights, threatening to leave the European Convention of Human Rights, and it just seems like as if they want to, as if they don't want to act fairly with the law, but they certainly want to deal with a personal agenda. And it just seems like as if they're just making such clowns of themselves. Like,
basically.
For PlayStation fans, I imagine they're probably like thinking, yeah, this is good because it just means Microsoft doesn't own things like Call of Duty. But I just honestly think that, like, for what it could have been Microsoft's right to get Activision and Blizzard, and they're already on board to getting it through, it's already been improved in many countries. It's just the UK just doesn't like the idea of it, and they just seems to drawn up more bullshit. Like, they don't see any issues with competition with the games, except the cloud gaming stuff, when obviously Microsoft's already completed a deal of signing up a exclusively deal with GeForce, the cloud streaming service for Switch games, and they even like agreed with Nintendo. Like, a lot of it has been agreed. Only for the CMA, just like at their own interests, and think that this deal is actually harmful. So
it's so frustrating. Like, I was hearing a load of news articles like the last couple of days, like going, "Oh, this might all be closed within the next week or so. Like the next few days, we actually might have the deal done." I'm like, "Thank God this is almost over." Now they're like going, "Oh no, CMA blocked it, so now we're going to appeal it, which might take a couple of years." I'm like, "Bloody hell! Why are we still? Can we just get it done?" I'm bloody frustrated by it now. It's like I'm fed up of talking about this bloody deal. I just want to get it done. I want to get free. I want to get free Diablo and Call of Duty and that on my bloody Game Pass subscription.
Anyway,
it's so annoying. Sorry.
That's okay. I understand how frustrated you are about it, and I ain't been expecting that. But there's been a lot of articles and talking about the next steps. So you say that Microsoft is likely to appeal against this, and it will take years, right? Well,
apparently, from what I've heard.
From this article by Eurogamer, saying what happens next, Microsoft have said that will appeal today's decision. But this article here is, as I've been reading through this, I think this just deals with the separate decisions with the US Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and EU's European Commission, which are still dealing with a deal. But according to the Competition Appeal Tribunal site, straightforward cases are aimed to be dealt with within 9 months. And that's according to the games industry analyst Piers Harding-Rolls, as they told Eurogamer. If the appeal is successful, it is then returned to the CMA to review. This again will take some time. He also added that, I think the chances of acquisition closing this year have dropped substantially. Next up is the EU decision on the deal towards the end of May, and the FTC action at the beginning of August. So yeah, as you rightly say, it may not be closed this year. Also, the Harding Walls added that the recent news that the CMA had narrowed its focus of concern to the cloud gaming market raised hopes that the deal will be approved, following Microsoft's suggested behavioral remedies and very public deals with cloud gaming companies. After all, streaming the games is still fairly not nascent in the UK, whatever that word is.
Yeah, it's still a growing market. It's still very small. Not many people cloud stream games at all. It's mad. I don't get it. It's so dumb.
Also adding that
Jim Ryan, why?
This has not been the case. The CMA is more concerned about Microsoft's extent of cloud gaming capability across Azure, Windows, and Xbox Cloud Gaming. The deals that Microsoft has done with bring your own games cloud gaming services such as GeForce Now are not directly competitive to Game Pass. This has not been enough to convince the CMA that it would stop Microsoft dominating the cloud gaming market in the future. So therefore,
Right.
the appeal, he then concluded that the appeal has a chance of success, but the CMA wins a significant minority of the appeals that are made. But if Microsoft wins, the case returns to the CMA for review. Oh, and Bobby Kotick has insisted the CMA's decision was far from the final word on Microsoft deal becoming reality.
I just don't get it, honestly. Why can't they just let us just... Why can't we have nice things? I just want nice things. I just want Call of Duty on my Game Pass subscription. I don't know why they can't just let us have things. Like, it's just baffling to me because, you know, Xbox is still third place. Even after this, they're not going to be taking over PlayStation. Like in like studio sizes and competition wise, like all it does is it brings the gap closer. It makes Xbox more competitive, which obviously is good for competition. That have all three consoles competing and doing well. It doesn't make sense to me to block this, but maybe it's something I don't see. I don't know. It's weird. I don't get it. I just wish it was just sorted now, and it's annoying that the UK have just made this like an extra, put an extra obstacle in the way now for it getting done. It's very annoying.
I also got this article from Pure Xbox, and it adds more about the Activision Blizzard statement, which Bobby Kotick has shared some words regarding his frustration over the decision. He said that this is far from the final word of this deal, as I said, and the facts are on our side. So, there's the samples of the statement saying, the UK hopes to grow its leadership position in technology, and a combined Microsoft Activision would accomplish exactly that. At a time when the fields of machine learning and artificial intelligence are thriving, we know the UK market would benefit from Microsoft's bench strength in both domains, as well as our ability to put those technology to use immediately. By contrast, if the CMA decision holds, it would stifle investment, competition, and job creation throughout the UK gaming industry.
Right.
Also, in addition, Activision Blizzard's lottery chain Mesferi, who's an MVP of corporate affairs and CCO, had called the decision a major setback for the UK ambitions to be a tech hub, as well as a disservice to UK citizens, saying, the CMA's report today is a major setback for the UK's ambitions to be a tech hub. Yeah, there's a repeat there. And we will work with Microsoft to reverse it on appeal. This report is also a disservice to UK citizens who face increasingly dire economic prospects, and we will need to assess our growth strategy in the UK. Global innovators, large and small, will take note that, despite all its rhetoric, the UK is closed for business.
That's literally what I was talking about earlier. Is that article you just read? I read that earlier. So like no, it's fine. It's just so you've put it in more perspective, which is good. So the UK is out of is closed for business. It's bad for the British economy. It doesn't make sense to do this. Good. It's bad for customers. Bad for the British. It's bad for the British economy. It's bad for British customers. It's bad for Xbox. The only people who get any kind of good will out of this is people like Jim Ryan. That's literally it. PlayStation. That's it. The only people who are going to get a benefit from this. Like all these companies like Nintendo and Nvidia and stuff are getting deals that they would never have gotten without this acquisition. It doesn't make any sense. It's like it's negative for everyone apart from literally like the PlayStation people. That's literally it. And even if you're a PlayStation fan, it shouldn't make any difference to you at all. It doesn't make any sense. It's baffling.
I would have to say that
UK, man.
The lawmakers in the UK are just like basically crap all around. And in fact,
seems like it.
politics and law
Stories.
are so bad in the UK that even other countries are so worried for them instead of thinking about leaving
Yeah.
the EU.
Mad.
But
Oh, it's God. I don't understand why people want to come to the UK. I live here. It's horrible. It's just completely fallen apart. The UK. I'm sorry. They're doing so badly at the moment
it's
when it
almost
comes
as
to
if the
everything.
amount of rain is just a
Horrible.
huge metaphor.
Yeah, it's a shambles. Like our country is a complete shambles at the moment. I don't want to get into politics too much, but it's like, the amount of prime ministers we've gone through over the last 5-10 years, and like, and all this stuff about Brexit and like leaving and staying and everything has just been it's a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. And then like our economy's completely gone down the toilet. Like everything is more expensive over here. Like I made a joke a couple of episodes ago. You said you were making eggs or something. I'm like, whoa, you can afford eggs? Whoa. That's
Still
literally what it's like in the UK. It's madness. Everyone's broke.
We still have empty shelves in supermarkets, and the most common are the eggs. I still struggle to find more eggs to buy, but I think I need to add that they've already gone through the Prime Minister's like disposables, and now we have Rishi Sunak, who's now like ends up being like really transphobic, and even like as if he really, it's not the case of like any prime minister is considering culture wars in order to cause distraction. He really revels in it, and it's just much to say about like how UK is just really wants to divide and conquer as a means to get away with all the flaws there. And the UK has already got so many flaws that it's now becoming less and less appealing as a country. Which is not
more xenophobic and more homophobic, more transphobic. It's becoming horrible, like economy wise. I mean, I'm a British citizen, I want to be patriotic. I want to be proud, but it's not been in place. It's been bad the last couple of years. It just keeps getting worse. Well, unfortunately, and he's a bit of a robot, Rishi Sunak. Like he doesn't really show his emotions very well. As I said, he's a bit of a robot. Hello, British public.
well, more like a cartoon villain almost. But we don't want to talk too much, really. But
we don't want to go into too much politics. I'm sorry, we got off the subject a little bit. But yeah, CMA, do better.
Well,
be nice now, CMA. Just let us have our Activision games.
I think it's just not just for the CMA bollocks. It's also that we're not particularly proud to be British either. Like, I like to be Cornish, but Cornwall's not likely to be separated as a country, though. But Wales has a much better chance. But Scotland, I would rather want for them to be more independent, because I think UK is just like making a huge mess, and now a lot of people are not looking forward to the coronation of a king. So
yeah,
this is already like turning into a huge shambles. And for what
it's all gone to shit since the Queen died. So everything's gone.
Yeah.
Poor Lizzie.
Yeah. But anyway, I just think, well, I think it just pushes the deal by many years when it could have been like in a few weeks, where we're just sick of like hearing about it.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a problem that law divisions around the world is just like trying to make a huge fuss and just thinking it's a bad idea because of fears of like Microsoft making them a monopoly. But then again, you have Microsoft and Activision shaking hands on this, and they're ready to complete this. And yet people are just trying to find excuses to say this is against competition. So I don't know. I don't really want to dwell too much into it, and I think it's turned into a huge fuss. But when it comes to saying that the CMA blocking the deal means that it's likely to stifle like growth in the tech sector, I mean, I just feel this is one of many decisions that's likely to make UK much poorer in comparison to other countries too. Not to mention that America is already like trashing it themselves over the political and also a lot of like prejudice as well. I mean, the world isn't that great in the moment, but I don't really want to be too pessimistic about it.
I just want to also mention is both me and you both did games design in university, and I remember like the first lecture I had in university when I started doing games design. My lecturer was like, "So we were one of the biggest countries in the world for games design, but now the Tories have come in and put all these taxes on the games company, and now no one wants to make video games over here anymore. So the UK is no longer a really good place to make video games. Sorry about that." Oh, okay, great. So now I've invested 3 years of my life into getting a degree in a country that's not very good for video games.
When
So
was
yeah,
that?
we
Do you know? Do you remember which?
that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to really say on the podcast, but he was the head lecturer of our year at the time. So I think he's retired now, actually. But yeah, he was saying about how because of all the taxes and stuff that the Tories have put on to games design and stuff. Now games design is now, we were like top 3 or 4 in the world, and now we're like 10th or whatever, or at least we were. That was like 10 years ago, and it's just somebody probably got worse since then. So hilarious. It's just, we're not, for some reason, we're like, we should be embracing tech and bringing more jobs into the UK, but we're doing stupid stuff like this, which is completely ruining it. But there you go.
But that's a huge contrast. But that's a huge contrast to the games industry in the 80s, where anyone who knows how to program a game from the Commodore 64 is a literal rock star. This time, it's like, even if you learn about Unity, you'll still be making passion projects that don't really go anywhere. And if you really want to make money in the games industry, you have to go into a sweatshop where your well-being is ignored. Like, you can easily get burnt out. You can easily get treated like second rate. And you have
best
to, like,
chances.
Yeah, you just basically stick to the very specific area. Like, you have to be so good in one area of games development, or you just can't get into getting a job. Like, for me, I got 2 master's degrees. I got the skills to even like run a company, but I'm only proven to be good for cooking chicken in McDonald's. This is how bad this whole economy is in the UK.
I'm the same way. I've got a degree, and I literally all I ever do now is sit on the phone and talk to customers all the time. That's like, I got a degree in game design, and I'm not doing anything to do with game design. And all I'm doing is taking phone calls from customers in a customer service job. It's horrible. Yay, depression.
And yet, the politicians, the lawmakers, are pretty much acting in this bubble of utopia, who always does things to suit their personal agenda. And I think this is what destroys opportunities. Like, I know this whole blocking the deal could be like more Microsoft centric, but I think it's just more of a case of like UK having more control over the competition, when in the past it was usually the European Union who often like challenges competition. Like, they've been challenging Apple over like the USB cables. They've challenged Microsoft Windows with the inclusion of Internet Explorer in their packages. But now the UK has blocked the Activision deal over fears it would stifle competition. But as we already knew, this whole blocking of a deal is just going to end up making them look bad compared to the rest of the world. I can assure you.
Yeah, and also like the UK is like such a small fish when it comes to this. Comes to Xbox, like PlayStation dominates over the UK as it is. So like, why would Xbox care if like they just go, oh well, never mind, we can't have Activision games in the UK. We'll just have it everywhere else. Like I said earlier, like they could just literally go, well, Call of Duty's on Game Pass everywhere in the world apart from the UK. Sorry, like they could literally do that, and like because like you like. Them losing Call of Duty stuff in the UK is not going to be that much of a big deal for them, because, as they said, like America is their main primary source of business. They want to grow in Japan and they want to grow in other countries. The UK is such a small part of their business that they could just completely skip us over. They could literally like move Microsoft out of the UK completely and probably still be fine. Which is, we're not. We're not big enough country to really be pulling this rubbish to try and get away with it. It's going to completely backfire on us, I think. Personally, because Microsoft are too big, and they can just get away. They can just go. They can just boycott the UK, and they still be fine. To be perfectly honest. is crazy. But yeah, that's the topic of the show. I mean, is there any more we wanted to talk about when it comes to this? I feel like we've kind of talked around it a bit.
We already explored it so much. So now we're going to give you the last question. So let's move on to that. I have a question for you, Chief.
What question do you have for me this week?
Very simple. Quite often we get comments from PlayStation fans and being like saying all this stuff about Xbox and being so negative, and goes into a tangent about how Microsoft is bad and PlayStation is better. So I'm going to give you the question, which is, to all those people who are fans of PlayStation, that includes the PSV Trust guys, I'm sure they're listening.
Guys.
What would you say to them if they feel like they're going to rub this CMA blocking of a deal in the faces of Xbox fans? What would you say to them?
So the question is, what do I say to PlayStation fans who are excited about the fact that the deal might be blocked? Is that the question, really?
Yeah, that's a good phrasing of this question.
All right. So what I would say to them is why are you excited? Because it doesn't make any sense. All you do is, excuse me, all the Activision games are still going to be on PlayStation, so it really would make any difference to you whatsoever. All it would do is mean that Activision games get more money invested in them, and you have more options to play them on the Switch or on PC or on cloud. And you also have options to pay the games cheaper. Like if you're going, oh, I'm a bit skint, I need to sell my PlayStation, but I really want to play Call of Duty, I can just stream it on my iPad. Yeah, right. Okay, it's not as good, but you have an option there. You know, it doesn't take anything away from PlayStation. All it does is it adds more options to other consumers and brings in more people. So I don't understand why you'd be happy for this decision to be blocked. The only thing you're really losing maybe are like the free weekend, like the early access and the extra content you get with PlayStation, which I don't really think is worth it anyway, to be honest. I feel like you not much is getting taken away, and you gain, and people are gaining a lot more from this deal going through. So I think you should just. I think you, like if you're open minded, other people, you should be happy for other people. I mean that's the only real way I can explain it. It's like it gives you more options, and it's good for everyone. The only people it's going to be bad for are the people who work for PlayStation. Even if you're a PlayStation fan, you shouldn't really notice much of a difference. So it's good for everyone, really, apart from Jim Ryan. There's one person, Jim Ryan.
Anyway, I think that sounds more like a monologue, but if you only get to summon up, no, that's all right. It's a good answer. But if you were to summon up in like just a few sentences, like if they curse in all this stuff, but you only have to like sum up your answer in a couple of sentences, what would you say to them?
I mean, okay, so basically what I said just there, but I'm just going to try and sum it up in less words. Trying to think how I could put it now. So, the benefits to you are minimal compared to the negatives to you are minimal compared to the benefits to everyone else. The decision would be good for everyone. The only people this has been negative for are people who work at PlayStation, not even you as a PlayStation customer. There you go. That's pretty much the best way I can sum it up.
Yeah, that's good
Clip
enough.
that out and put that into a short.
Pretty much. Anyway, now, as we're supposed to be the last section, we now got a breaking news.
Breaking news!
So,
hit me. I don't know what this is. Let's go.
Well, the breaking news is, as I'm going to share it on you, that Redfall is to come with limited edition controllers, which you can actually get on, and them in through the Xbox Design Lab. I'm going to show it over to you now, so you can get to check out the image there.
Wait for it to load. Ooh.
So basically, it comes with 5 unique designs, which you can get on Microsoft's Design Labs. I used the service before. It's okay, not the most reliable controls they send out, but you can have 1 of 5 designs which you can combine with different colors, I imagine. So, according to this statement here, as you explore the thrilling world of Redfall, we are excited to bring you the newest additions to Xbox Design Lab with Redfall limited edition designs inspired by the game's characters. Choose from 1 of 5 inspired designs, each with its own curated color scheme to match. And it just goes on with all the characters. And then, for those who prefer to embrace the darkness, the 5th design, Bite Back, offers a vampire-inspired look complete with red fangs and side caps highlighting the town of Redfall before and after the vampire invasion.
Ooh.
So
I like the black one with the red film sticks and the red teeth marks. I mean, that is the coolest out of the lot. But
yeah, it does look good. Also, it just
I think the black and purple one's quite nice.
There's a different color for the go button too, so it's interesting. So each design highlights key aspects of each character in the game, and it goes on about the characters. But yeah, there's certainly, you get a lot of this in the article. Also, it just comes with like a specific set of customizable colors, which you can customize different aspects of it. And also, it just has like extra details as well as all the features you would expect from the latest controller. Oh, and it also mentions that in the Xbox Gear Shop, you can buy some of the apparel which are based on the game, which is known as the Redfall Collection. So, yeah, so basically, if I can bring this up, Centi okay. But anyway, I think if I would quickly bring this up, so Bite Back, this one. Yep, that looks nice. Interesting colors. And this one is like cool. Edgelord stuff. And then
I can actually see what you're looking at, by the way. Whoa!
This one's interesting. It's got Redfall in the back.
Ooh.
And it should, yeah, that's interesting. This one, I think, is for the one that uses psychic powers of some sort. Oh, Leia Ellison. That's some interesting colors. But I intend to play as the engineer, which is known as Rebbe de la Rosa. So if I pick this one, and you can choose from one of the 4 stencils there. So I think I might pick this one, the town of Redfall. And you can only customize the back by the looks of it. Oh, all right. Seems like you can only like choose certain colors. You can add rubberized back grips. Yeah, that's cool.
Ooh.
Oh, the side grips only affects that gets rid of the details on it, so it's one way or the other. And then you can choose different colors at the top.
That's cool.
Nothing to wipe back home with. Oh, it just kind of reminds me of like, you know, there's one of those things on the Lego sets and where you get those capsules that you can build toys with it, which is known as the Cecils or some sort. I don't know. That's from 1998, but those are quite cool. So you get.
So yeah, I mean, this is cool. And we've got custom stuff coming out for Redfall. I mean, Redfall is they're making a big deal out of it, even though people are hating on this game. I'm hoping that this is going to do well.
Yeah, you can get metallic triggers. So I put some metallic grey on there just to represent metal. And you can like put yellow or something like that. you also get
So, like for the audio listeners, you're customizing the controller, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's just trying to explain what's going on. So, what's going on. So,
But
I mean, that's cool. I mean, I like the idea of custom controllers for Redfall characters and custom gear. That's rad. That's something they should do for all games. I'm really looking forward to see what they do with Starfield when that comes out. I think that'll be rad too.
yeah, I agree. And you can put some engraving on it, but as you can just basically got this controller set up for the character I like to use. So if I were to share this and see if I can share it on Discord, just give me a few seconds. You should be able to see it on your chat. And I think this is my favorite of the controllers, which is layers.
Ooh, yellow.
So
very cool.
Definitely
yellow.
sticking
It's got
with
like a Hazard logo on it and stuff. That's cool.
there's
Yellow.
rubberized. Yeah, I think I'll keep the rubberized side grips, even though it's 5 quid. And
Okay.
yeah, you can only have only a specific set of like controller colors, which it's a bit of a shame. But
yeah. So I mean, maybe you should order this offline when we finish. So new controllers. I think that's cool. Cool idea. I think they should just do this. Do this more often. I love the custom controllers Xbox does. I think Design Labs is one of the best features that Xbox has. I think that's great.
Yeah. I think I would rather not order from this because I ordered this console controller, which if you could see from one of the last podcast episodes, there's yours bought it from the store, and I can still view it free. But I once ordered the controller of an Xbox Design Lab, and I was like loving it, but then it had controller problems, and I had to send it back for it to be repaired. But then all they did is they refunded it, so I thought no point anymore. So
I'll probably end up buying a custom controller at some point. I'm still thinking of maybe buying an Elite controller, but I want to upgrade my webcam and lighting and stuff for my videos before I buy a Pro controller
and a laptop.
Maybe a new laptop as well. Yeah.
So just showing this over
I think that's more or less it. Okay. It's not loaded. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week, I guess, if we just wait for this picture to load. Oh, that's nice. Black and purple. That's cool. And it's like the umbrella lady, I've got her name. But yeah,
yes, so that one.
Yeah, what do you guys think of the Redfall controllers? They look cool, I think. If you're an audio listener, go check out the Xbox website for it. I'm sure you can have a look at them there. They're cool designs. I think they look kind of rad. So this has been a fun episode of Xbox the Box. I think that's pretty much it for the episode, right? I imagine.
And next week it'll be episode 50, and it will be the same time that Redfall could be out. So we might be able to do we're actually planning the playthrough of the game, and this time we'll just have a casual discussion over the best moments of the podcast, nothing else. So if you're interested for that, then if you've been listening to this podcast, follow or subscribe, whether it says on the podcast service. But also don't forget to subscribe to YouTube on our YouTube channel and like our videos. The more subscribers, the more better stuff we can get. So thank you very much for listening to this episode. And sorry if we just made a huge rant about this CMA blocking the deal. But I'm sure we can all agree this is like a lot of bollocks to deal with, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I really appreciate everyone who's listening. Sorry if I've been sounding a bit bunged up because I said I got a bit of a cold, so I apologize. But CMA interest. I mean, hopefully this all gets resolved sooner rather than later. And I hope they don't drag this on for another year. I'd be so frustrated if we have another year of this. Fun episode. Tune in next week for episode 50, the big 5-0. Halfway through a century. Blooming heck. I can't believe we've done 50 episodes. It's crazy. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, too sweet. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.